Hello everyone. Today we're going to be going through hypothesis testing for college students who prefer Snapchat to all other forms of social media. So let's go ahead and begin. Okay, so first off, it's previously known, if I get this to focus in here, there we go. So it's known before that 63% of college students already do prefer Snapchat. So basically we're going to start off with our establishing our null and our alternative hypothesis here. So for our null, that's going to be p is equal to 0.63, and then our alternative hypothesis will be that p is not equal to 0.63. And of course this is going to be a two-tailed test, and to determine the appropriate statistical test, we're going to be using a z is equal to our p hat minus p over the square root of p times q divided by n, which will be our sample size. So moving on here, for number 3 we have to set the value of our alpha and find our critical values, and we'll go on to explain the type 1 error. So for this one I decided to do a 95% confidence interval. This will give me my alpha with a 0.05 and giving me my critical values of negative 1.96 and 1.96. Of course we can get those values by taking your 0.05, which is your alpha, dividing it by 2, because again this is a two-tailed test, and you'll be going into your z-table here, and what we're looking for is 0.025. So that's gonna be right there, the 0.025, and that lines up with negative 1.9 on the left. If you follow that down into the top, that's going to be the 0.06 at the top for the 0.025. So then looking back on your over here, this is going to give you your critical values. That's where we get our negative 1.96 and our positive 1.96. So for the type 1 error, that's going to basically be saying that more kids do not prefer Snapchat when really they actually did prefer Snapchat. So moving on here, number 4, this is where we're going to establish our decision rule. Basically you can see here the negative 1.96 with our normal distribution curve, and the positive 1.96, those are going to be our critical values. Also here we got shaded is our rejection regions, also known as our critical regions as well. Basically anything that falls past negative 1.96 or falls above 1.96 will basically be rejected. So that's how we can tell there. So we had to gather some sample data. What I did, I went ahead and ran a Twitter poll. I decided kind of late that I wanted to go ahead and take advantage of this extra credit, so I saw that the best way to do that would be to start a Twitter poll. So I did that a couple hours ago, forwarded it to Facebook with the link, and surprisingly I got a number of people to respond. So to my surprise, a number of people did prefer Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all other forms of social media over Snapchat. So only 16 people preferred Snapchat in the poll that I ran, and all the others preferred other forms of social media. So my sample size was 38, and my p hat, we get that here by taking the total number of people who preferred Snapchat, dividing that by our total sample size, which was 38, and that'll give you 0.42 for p hat. Moving along here, we've got our test statistic for when we analyze the data. So basically the formula that we had up here are to solve for z. Now we have our data, so we can plug and chug here. When you plug all this into your calculator, you'll get negative 2.68. So negative 2.68 actually does fall. It'd probably fall somewhere out here. Negative 2.6. So you can see the negative 2.68 there. So we will be rejecting this. To find our p-value, again, we'll be looking at our z-table, and you go directly to negative 2.68. So we got negative 2.6, follow that down here, which will give us 0.0037 in the center there. Moving back over here, that's our p-value, 0.0037. If the p-value is less than the alpha, it will be rejected. In this case, the 0.05 does happen to be greater than our 0.0037, so we will be rejecting here, rejecting our null. So number 7 is where we're reaching our statistical conclusion, where since negative 2.68 does fall in the critical region, we will be rejecting the null for this problem. To make a business decision, if marketing, if marketing, you know, say for business, I would say to use other forms of social media other than Snapchat. And that will conclude it here. Thank you guys.